live events, we are slowly piecing together lore. For the time being, I'm leaving the story of Fortnite Save the World out of this equation. This one's all about Battle Royale's story, which has been constructed from cinematics, live events, and those loading screens too. You ready? Let's do this. The first live event, which shook the in-game world, started off as a shooting star across the skies during Season 3. But as the days turned into weeks, that burning fireball in the sky looked like more than a passing comet. Lookout points and viewing platforms were constructed around the island, welcoming the meteor. We all tried and failed to predict the day it would hit us, and some even predicted alien life to be on board that UFO. Suddenly, without warning, pieces of the comet began to hit the island, destroying man-made structures, influencing fights, and causing havoc everywhere. With the introduction of Season 4, Fortnite's island was finally hit by more than debris. Large portions of the former UFO destroyed many areas of the map, with the main impact destroying Dusty Depot and turning it into a barren hole in the ground. Instantaneously, the government erected barriers around the impact site, hiding away the central part of the meteor. Those remains glowed red, potentially indicating life inside. Elsewhere around the island, the cleanup began, with government officials transporting the fragments of the comet, some of which granted anti-gravity abilities momentarily to anyone who touched them. Tilted Towers narrowly avoided complete annihilation, but one building wasn't so lucky. That building and all the other areas were renovated over the following weeks and months. Finally, it looked like all the fragments and hot rocks were being transported to a mountain over by Snobby Shores. The mountain was revealed to be a lair cut into the rock face, hidden from the majority of the island. Some say it was created for a movie shoot, others believe this was a facade, and a secret government facility is housed inside, especially as a rocket was seen. Either way, everything was about to change after the final meteor fragment over by the crater was discovered opened, and whoever was inside left a trail of destruction all the way to the mountain lair. The visitor was revealed, but nothing is known about his origins. He quickly found a way to power the rocket, and then came the day he chose to launch, broadcasting the signal to all the televisions in the vicinity, either warning the innocent or preparing them for annihilation. Was he here to conquer us, or was he simply trying to get back home? What happened next only happened a single time and could not be repeated. Here's how it went down.
Rico's trusty grappling hook has been serving him well for years at the...
The visitor somehow managed to create ruptures in time and rifts between dimensions. Although it looked like Tilted Towers was about to be destroyed, a malfunction caused the rocket to warp around the map. The rift left behind began to eat away at the Fortnite world, with Nom Noms, the Tomato Head, and the Durr Burger being ripped from this reality and vanishing overnight. But then something even stranger happened. Items from other worlds began to drop through the rifts in time. A stagecoach was found above Moisty Mire, A skeleton of a huge animal, or maybe a dinosaur, was spotted in Moisty Mire, and a huge anchor was spotted between Snobby Shores and Greasy Grove, which looked ancient in design. Perhaps Roman, perhaps Norse, something was definitely happening here. Season 5 arrived and changed the world further. Once the rifts in time and space opened, the Drift character was dragged onto the island alongside the fabled Durburger. Bright Bomber and her crew showed Drift around the island, and especially the new areas to discover. Midway through Season 5, the crack in the sky began to burn down a group of cacti, whichever is correct. Once all the cacti were demolished, the rift did this. A mysterious cube was created which gifted shield when close enough, but would repel any damage at the closest player to the cube. So what did we all do? We all killed each other for a while, which was fun. Eventually the cube began to roll around the map and left Nordic runes in the ground, linking back to the Norse theme we found in the Battle Pass, and the theory of Ragnarok, bringing the end to the current world. Over the next month, the cube went about its business, including smashing down the building in Tilted Towers, which has been under construction since Season 4 began. Epic just loved to troll us. Back to the loading screens saw the arrival of the Enforcers, which looked like intergalactic police. We'll have to wait to see what happens here, because even on the last day of Season 5, nothing has been confirmed. Watch this space. So, the cube finally made it over to Loot Lake.
It tickled, but not in a good way. Like being constantly brushed with a feather.
And this happened. The cube melted into Loot Lake, causing the top layer to become a repellent kind of trampoline gel. Loot Lake became Tramp Lake. It doesn't have the same ring to it. 1 week later, things changed yet again. Season 6 began, and the cube was not finished with us yet, lifting the Loot Lake Island into the air. The moment the floating island was created, the cube took it for a ride and revisited all the rune spots on the island, ripping them out of the ground and transferring some sort of energy to them before moving on to the next. Over 2 weeks, the cube island moved around the map slowly, expanding itself through the house above. Once the cube reached the final rune, another phenomenon happened. All the surrounding runes were ripped from the ground and pulled towards the cube. This time, the cube was feeding from all the rooms, and over the next few days, the cube reached its full capacity. The floating rooms dropped from the sky and hit the ground, and the cube island went back to its home above Loot Lake. With its newfound energy, the cube projected a beam of light into the air, and Fortnitemares began. The island became infested with the undead. These husks were everywhere. The Loot Lake Island was smashed into pieces, but with its job done, the cube began to drain away. The energy and power it had built up for the season opened a gateway to a zombie cataclysm. For 5 days, we battled against the husks. The nightmare was almost over. And to mark the end, another live event brought Chapter 1 to a close. The end of the cube. Rest in peace, Kevin. Here's how it went down. So that's where we are so far in the live event story of Fortnite Battle Royale. From the first sightings of a shooting star to our brief time in another dimension. Thanks for the memories, Kevin. Chapter 1 in Battle Royale's story looks to have been concluded. For now, Loot Lake has completely changed, covered in flowers, butterflies and rainbows. Is this the beginning of the end, or the end of the beginning? Let's hope the story continues to evolve. But what will happen next? Can you predict the next event? Please upvote the ones you like in the comments below. If you found this video helpful, please think about supporting me, Adamaru, in the